Welcome back to another episode of Who Am I to Judge podcast. I'm Alexis. Hello.
I'm Samantha. Hello, and we are
I don't know why
back.
she's laughing.
Because Alexis cracks me up.
Anyway.
Yeah, Alexis is trying her hardest not to smack.
I know. I'm fighting for my life over here.
Yeah, I think I'm about to choke or something.
I had like a vein pop up.
Yeah, I was like, are you okay?
I'm okay.
She's eating Italian ice, people, on the podcast, and
it's a little voting treat because I voted today.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you very much. How are you today?
I'm good. I am just feeling good about the summertime. I'm loving, I'm just loving the sun. Like, we've had so many consecutive days with just sun, and I really cannot complain because my soul needs that. And so yeah, I'm good. I cannot believe it's the freaking end of June.
It's crazy. Julia was saying that today. She was like, it's almost like the end of summer. I was like, I know, it's scary.
Like, what? And yeah, tomorrow's Darian's birthday. Shout out to Dare Bear. Happy birthday, Darian.
Happy birthday.
And so yeah, it's just like we're at that time of the year again. I definitely need to get to a pool, to a beach, to the water ASAP.
No, I get that.
What about you? How are you? Because you was coming on here with an attitude earlier.
I was just playing. I'm good. You would have been. I was thinking about you actually because. So, my mother, gifted me. My parents gifted me a car for my graduation, and I was very thankful. And I got a 2025 black Honda CRV. It's beautiful.
Girl.
So that, the whole deal was like, I'll pay the insurance, they'll pay the car note. And so literally my mom was trying to set up on our bank, how to put her account in so it can just pull money from her account and pay the loan. And so she couldn't figure it out, with me on the phone. So she was like, let's just call the people. And I'm like, okay. And you would have just been laughing. When I tell you,
I already know.
The bank person had the most patience I've ever seen in a person. She was like, okay, so you're just going to click on make payment. And she was like, where's make payment? And then she was like, okay, so if you're looking at the screen, go to the right, it's under the word more. My mom was like, okay. She was like, click on make payments. My mom was like, to who? Who's the payments going to? And I'm like, oh my God, just click on the fucking thing. It's not, she's not saying who the payments are going to be. And so the lady was like, we're almost there. We haven't gotten to that stage yet. Just click on make payments. So
oh my God.
She clicks on make payments. And then she's like, so then this is where you can put who it is to. And she's like, well, do I put my account? And it's like, come on, girl. It was literally I was laughing. I was like, I know this lady is so annoyed on the other end, click the fucking button. So I was just laughing.
I know you were annoyed. You were like, oh my God.
I mean, yeah, when I ended the conversation, my mom told me I need to have more patience. I was like, okay.
Yeah, see?
But so that was really funny. And then I had another workout class today, which was kicks my butt, but I felt good after.
That's good. I love that for you.
Thank you. And then that's really it. I feel like everything else, I was just being, and I voted today, but yeah, I was just being a slob.
I mean, that sounds pretty productive to me. You went to the gym and you took care of some financial things and you voted. Okay. That's enough for one day.
You're right. I know. I'm just trying to enjoy this last week before work. I mean, your life is going to be twisted upside down next week when you can't just call me whenever you want to.
I know. I'm going to be sad. I know. I've dreaded this moment for literally ever. I feel like you have, I mean, obviously when you were in school, but still, I could still kind of call you sometimes and be off early. But yeah, I hate when you have a job because it's just why Why can't
I'm
you
at your
answer the
beck and
phone at
call.
12 p.m.? But we'll see. Hopefully your job will, working from home, you're going to be in the decision of how strict you are with that. Because I used to be talking to you.
You know how I feel about that.
No, I don't.
I be serious with my boundaries and time when it comes to like I'm doing work.
At work. Oh yes, you are. You definitely are. But I think you'll manage it well.
I think so too.
And I think you'll hopefully still be calling me in the middle of the day sometimes.
Before we get to it though, I feel like we should touch on like a little bit of just like mini who's on trial. Like I feel like we should talk about Normani a little bit because I know we want to talk about the fact that like no one's listening to her shit. Like what the hell? Like well, I just wanted to share. So like, you know, me and Samantha, you know, we love Normani. And so this was I'm gonna just show you here, tell you some of the new, you know, how her album's doing. We want to do some check-ins on her. So she sorry. Sorry, the thing like went to a weird ass thing. I'm sorry. So her album only sold 13,000 units and it's debuted as number, I believe, 91 or 90 on the Billboard Top 200. And, you know, it's not very great for a mainstream artist, but it's good if you're just an artist in general to be on Billboard. But it just makes me sad because I'm like, this is such a good album. I don't know. Like, it's really fucked up.
It does make me sad. But I also am just like, you know, there's still time. And there's time for it to still, you know, like catch on in terms of like more people listening. But again, as you have said, like the marketing was just lackluster. Like I saw that TikTok you sent me and it was just like the music is good. It's just that they didn't put any like marketing dollars behind it.
It's sad.
Yeah, and it just like it goes back to like how much control the artist has to like just go rogue and do their own thing. Like could she just post like hey guys, I'm going live on Monday, like to talk to you guys, whatever, like, or is it like that? Does that have to all be planned?
I would hope she would be able to just like put up fucking TikToks. Like it's just like literally Normani should have had a TikTok dance challenge going on for fucking Candy Paint because that's already a thing that people have.
Maybe we gotta wait for the video for that though.
But it's like Normani, like 13,000 units, like 91 on Billboard. No one knows your album is out. Like you should have been. I'm sorry, people are just not hitting the pavement like Beyonce used to do it. Like literally, I saw a tweet the other day that was like, it was like her on Good Morning America at like 7 a.m. doing a performance, and it was like Get Me Bodied or something like really high effort, and it was just like no one is like hitting the pavement like this. I'm like, right? Like, why wasn't Normani on the Kelly Clarkson show, like Jennifer Hudson show, like late night doing some type of like?
But I thought you said she was going to be performing those shows on the late night, like Big Boy.
I said that Big Boy is like commissioned to be like her song that she does live performances for, but I didn't say like what she was doing it for. But I'm like, why wasn't she on any late nights?
I hope that. I just am praying. I know you're like a week out, and still it's been a little like it's been quiet since the album came out.
Right? I don't hear nobody talking about it.
And I'm talking about in terms of like her too. It's not like it's been. We haven't gotten any videos or whatever, but we did get that Coach ad, which I thought was really beautiful. But yeah, I think that I just hope that the videos come out soon. Like I hope like okay, she's on the schedule for the next couple weeks. I mean, it would be amazing if she did SNL. Is SNL happening right now?
Yeah, it still happens.
Okay. Yeah, like it would be amazing if she did that, but like let's just get some of the videos out. I just want to give her a chance to, still catch some ears.
Well, we're rooting for you.
Share the music, people.
Please watch.
People don't know.
Please listen to Dopamine.
Yes, go listen to Dopamine. Share it with your friends.
And it's just like literally we just, shout out to the pod because our Nomani episode was like our most viewed on YouTube. So
yes, it was. We have now like 59 views, which is great.
Right?
we
59 people listening to us.
We love our YouTube people. We love all y'all.
Small but mighty.
But go ahead, what I was gonna say? Oh yeah, Danielle wanted me to tell you that she really loves the Kehlani album. She wanted me to give that a shout out on the podcast. Alexis, what do you think about it?
I can't. I just really don't respect it. Like, I don't know. Like Kehlani just like, and I don't want to spend too much time on this because I feel like there's other fun things to talk about. But I feel like Kehlani just like. I feel like I view her like I view Summer Walker and her and Kehlani. It's just like it's like R&B music that sounds the same. Everything's in the same key. So like every
it's a
song
little different.
Every song to me sounds the fucking same. I can't get into it.
You heard this album and you said the same thing. Yeah. I feel like the sound is definitely different in terms of the couple songs that Danielle played for me.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like definitely like a different kind of sound.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I am, I'm waiting to be kind of like put on. I've also heard that Kehlani's a really good live. Like I've heard she's like good live. Like she puts on like a good show.
Okay.
So yeah, I just was throwing that out there. Oh yeah, and then while we're on that topic, I guess we can switch to Cowboy Carter comments. Yeah. That's what I kind of wanted to just get off my chest because today we saw all of the pictures come out from the vinyl, like
the official vinyl.
The official vinyl. What is it? What is that? Like the insert book or something?
Yeah, like the little book you get with the vinyl.
Yes, and it like has so many amazing pictures, like her looking like freaking Dolly Parton and just all these creative, visually amazing looks and like things that the girls love and want. And it's just like, I just really feel duped. Like, I just really feel like Beyonce, like if I'm coming out of my pocket, like you got to understand, like the girls, we don't have it right now. Like I know we're joking about that online, but I think we have told Beyonce that we don't have it. Okay. And I don't want to speak, lack into the universe, but the economy is what
She's
it is.
She's talking about all y'all's coins.
Who?
You. She said
no.
Y'all have
it. I'm going to talk about myself, okay? I can't afford to be buying 2 and 3 out vinyls that are like basically $65 and then with tax and all that shit. And it's just sad. It just really makes me sad as a fan. Like I want that album for like a keepsake, and it's just like, okay, I guess I'm gonna have to like, am I gonna buy it? Like, or am I gonna
I'm not buying it, but I feel like it just goes to what we always say. It's just like,
I know, I can't buy it.
It's fucked up
right now.
It was very capitalistic of her, like, do you, but it's just like, it's just fucked up that like the other people who got it delivered, who ordered it, pre-sale ordered the first like editions of these vinyls that you were fucking promoting, you didn't think to put a fucking lookbook in there as well. It's just, I don't know, it's like fucking, it's so really
there's no lookbook in it, in yours?
Hell no.
So it's just the CD in there. I mean the album.
Nothing but the plastic wrap and the vinyl. That's it. But wait,
that's crazy.
Let's get to it. Who's on trial this week, friend?
Well, I think we should start off with I mean, I don't know if I want to say Jonathan Majors or Hollywood Unlocked. Or
let's start with Jonathan Majors and then go into Hollywood Unlocked, because I feel like, no, let's
tell the audience what happened if nobody heard.
Go for it.
Jason Lee, his company Hollywood Unlocked, which is like a celebrity like gossip
pop
culture blog. Yeah. he has like a podcast now, and like a lot of people are going on, and he's been doing a lot of press, and apparently, so he has an award show. I forget what the award show is called. I should look that up. And
I'll look it up while you keep going.
Okay, so yeah, he has an award show, and apparently this has been going on for a few years. Like I've seen pictures of like, and people be coming out. You know, like people show up, which I think is a beautiful thing.
It's the Hollywood Unlock Impact Awards.
Okay, yeah, I thought it was something with an I.
Award show, yeah.
How long has it been out? Does it say? I'm just curious.
I didn't look that part up. But it's a couple years. Like I definitely know it's been a few years. Yeah.
But yeah, so they had that show like last weekend, and they were honoring Jonathan Majors for a perseverance. It was a perseverance award. I believe the award show will be exclusively on Zeus, but it, you know, like that's where they'll show it. But yeah, so it was quite a spectacle. Like, I mean, first of all, let's just talk about the fact that they were.
Should we remind people what Jonathan Majors did, just in case some people,
Yeah, so basically, Jonathan Majors at the end of March of 2023 was like, oh my gosh, just such a crazy, it's crazy. Like he was at the top of his career, and then the allegations of physical assaults, or like, I honestly kind of forget what happened at the beginning, but basically his girlfriend at the time, Grace Jabari, accused Jonathan Majors of assaulting her, hurting her finger, all this stuff. Then that goes to court. Like he gets arrested, and they like go to court, and they do a trial for this, and it comes out that he is convicted for it was like harassment, but like not on purpose. Like whatever that one is, it's like it was like you hurt somebody,
maybe in like the second degree or whatever. Like I feel like first degree is like intent.
And it was,
I don't know.
It was also just like, you know, like you were I think it was reckless endangerment or something.
Okay.
Like you were being reckless, and so whatever, he got convicted of that.
But also just like meanwhile, I just remember during the time of the trial, also all these other people were coming out, like other girlfriends, people he went to college with.
People
just saying that they've also witnessed or know people who have experienced abuse at his hands as well.
Yes, they did say that. And then like audio came out of him like telling Grace Jabari that he needs a Coretta Scott King. He's like, do you understand that? Like, I need a Coretta Scott King. And so we're like, okay, yeah, this guy is definitely like they have some issues, and he's obviously like, you know, seems to be at least like emotionally, let alone sounds like, you know, they were in a physical moment in that moment that we saw in the camera. Like he like put her back in the car, and that is what he got convicted for, like that moment. We also did see Grace Jabari like chasing him down the street for like a few blocks, which I think is hilarious. Anyways, so he got convicted, and he got, you know, he got dropped his cane, whatever. Like the Black community was pretty split, I feel like.
I mean, he lost his Marvel contract. He was about to be in a Marvel movie. Contract. He pretty much just got, like, you know, like, I think you said it right. He was at the top of his career, and after this, in an instant, he was like, he got no jobs. He was kind of like relegated to the side, and he lost his career.
Yeah, and he had movies that were coming out that we were like, oh shit, and they like literally shelved them. Like, so yeah, it was crazy.
So like during this time, he's been laying low. He's been dating Megan Good, which I feel like that really, I don't know why. I just am like cringy whenever I see them together.
Because basically like what, I mean, the pieces of the puzzle I put together is like, that's who you were texting. Because that's why they got into the argument. Right. It was like somebody named my, like, you know, I don't know, Ebony Goddess, or like my queen or some shit. It was like, name something weird, I think. And so I'm pretty like, it sounds like those were the overlapping relationships. But either way, yes, it does feel cringe because it's just like Megan Good is standing beside this man at all costs, and it just feels like forced or whatever. But it's just like, okay, whatever, do you? Y'all are young, like we're just kind of letting y'all be, like I know they showed up and Megan Good is like working, so she's going to award shows, and so that's like her +1. And I think this is the first time that something is like centered about him, and this is what they decided to do to give him the Perseverance Award at this point.
Right,
when
so he gets
this trial was like at the beginning of the year, like he just got convicted at the beginning of this year, if I'm not mistaken, or end of last year or something.
I mean, yeah, he gets this Perseverance Award, and then I feel like Aliana, what's her name? Aliana Van Zandt. Yes. I always feel like I mess up her name. It like gives him this like warm embrace, kisses his forehead, like holds him in like as if he's like a martyr, basically.
Oh my God! So let me break it down. Let me paint a picture. Aliana Van Zandt, like she presents this man the award, and she's just like, Jonathan Majors. And this boy, literally from the moment he steps on stage, is like, in tears, like shaking his head, shaking his head, just like really whatever, like in the bosom, head in the bosom, like she's rubbing his back, doing all types of, whatever.
We must persevere through injustice. Perseverance. Perseverance means what? Perseverance means persistence in doing something despite difficulty or delay. And the God I serve has put me in a position where I've had to embody that word more than I wished or wanted to. We live in a world where men, black men in particular, are propped up as either superheroes or supervillains. But I've come to realize, me personally, I ain't none of that. It was fun. But I'm just me. Just Jay. Feel me?
And my thing is like, what I'm saying is like, this was such a spectacle. Like, this was very like Iyanla. First of all, it was weird because Iyanla was like, at one point it was like, are y'all like about to kiss? Like she was like kind of kissing his cheeks, whatever. And then just, she blew his nose at one point. Like it was the weirdest thing. And I just, for one, it felt very forced because obviously we know that, Jonathan Majors put himself in the position that he was to get in trouble. And two, he hasn't, it would be one thing if he's like came back and has been doing movies or like, has been just active in some way. It's just like, what have you persevered through? Like, yes, your life, but this just doesn't make sense. Like it doesn't make sense as in terms of an award. And I'm surprised that his team and him and Megan thought this was a good idea because literally they let him be on stage for like 15 minutes and he just rambled on and on and on and cried and like was trying to like preach, was trying to give a message of some kind, never really did, and got off the stage. And it's just like, I don't want to, it's like one thing, because I know people are like, well, we need to support Black award shows or whatever. But my thing is just like, Jason Lee, he knows what he is doing.
Absolutely.
Like that was gold. That was like, the internet is going to go crazy. When they didn't even really grab onto it, like they could have. But that was definitely like
I just feel like
weird move.
Yeah.
And I think it's a little fucked. Sorry, I'm just going to finish my thought. I just think it's a little fucked up I just think Hollywood is just weird as fuck. And I think that Jason Lee wanted to laugh and wanted a moment to like, make shit kind of funny and like, but also kind of stand behind this like, we're supporting this Black man and blah blah blah. So like if you speak out against it, it feels like weird. But it's just like, no, like this is weird. Like what are we doing here? This guy is obviously not okay. He's rambling on for 15 minutes. Like this is too soon. And he knows this is weird that he's getting a Perseverance Award of all things.
Like, yeah, I feel like they're trying to like, well, and probably his team probably thought like we want sympathy for him, like we want to make him look like create an image where he looks like the victim. But I feel like at the end of the day, like it's just so, I don't know, I kind of like left looking at the video and stuff like, oh wow, like how just like as a society it's just like such a low bar for like boys and men, because I'm just like,
yep,
I just feel like we are so much harder in my mind on like young Black girls or Black women.
My God.
Like if a Black woman, I mean like so many things. Like I feel like with
Normani could have got that award. Okay, sorry. I'm just like, I know we bring up Normani.
If a Black woman like had such a tragic story where they did something terrible, they would not be getting a warm embrace from Ileana.
You are right.
They would actually probably be getting like a scolding too for her on her fucking show Fix My Life. But I feel like with boys and
or
men,
just outcasts,
and I feel like I've just always like had this thought, especially like growing up and looking at how some of my male cousins have been treated versus like the female cousins. Yes. Like it's such a low bar, and it's just like we should forgive at any second, and it's okay. And what he did wasn't that bad. And I just feel like this is an example of it. How like this is a grown ass man. We have recordings of him yelling at this girl, and I'm not saying the girl is innocent too, but I'm saying at the end of the day, he was found guilty or whatever. Period. And we at least know he has made women feel uncomfortable. We can say that with pretty much certainty. And so it's so weird to me how like that ends with an award by the end of the year, and then an embrace by an older black woman. I don't know. I just kind of feel like the bar is just so low for him. Like all he had to do was show up. I haven't really seen real remorse from him. I haven't seen. I know he did that sit down interview with Gail, but I feel I heard it was mid. Like that's what I'm just like. I'm like, we haven't really seen actual remorse. So I'm just like, what did he do to persevere? He sat through a fucking trial. I mean, plenty of people sit through fucking trials every day.
With the most beautiful girl next to you in the world. Like, are you really doing that bad, my nigga?
Like, I mean, it's just like, it's like hard. It's hard for me to like have sympathy because I'm just like, you did not get an unfair treatment. You got what happened. You did something. They called the police. A police report was made. You then went to trial. But that's a normal procedure that everyone goes through.
But I also think too, it's like, even if there was a racial undertone,
there definitely was.
Yeah, that's just the world we live in, right?
You didn't do it.
But listen, that's just the world we live in. Mm-hmm. And yes, like that could have affected, that's like how it could have affected your trial. And I'm sure it affected your experience with the police and all this shit. But also it's like you were, dating a white woman and acting like a fool and thinking that
bingo
it was gonna be okay, like that you could just do whatever. And what makes me mad too, because like you pointed out, it's like, okay, we have Megan Good, a black woman, then we have Iyanla, another black woman, like that we are the ones that
are babying him.
Yeah, like we're the ones that are like, it's okay, like, whatever. And Jonathan Majors, he's admitted that, like, he has problems or whatever. And he's like, I think his sentence was like he has to do like domestic violence, like therapy or something like that. But I just think that yeah, I agree. I think it's definitely, our society has a very low bar. I also just think like it's just really wild to me. I know this is going to be a really big turn, but like it's just wild to me watching like House of Dragons, like how much shit still hasn't changed. Like we're pretty much doing the same like wild shit, besides like, you know, rampant incest or whatever with families. Like I feel like we're still in the same shit, and it's just sad. And that being said, the bar is just like so low for men. You know,
it really
like,
is. And I'm just like, I don't know, I just feel like it's like, I don't know, growing up, like I feel like I always witnessed like my like male cousins, like they'll do something and it's like, well, he doesn't know any better, or he thought da da da, but then if one of us did something, it was like, you know, that was wrong, you know. And or just like, you know, just in life, like there, it's like, well, you know, come over here and give me a hug, and he's figuring out his life, or he's a, you know. But then it's like with the black girls, it was like, well, you must go to college, you need to get grades, what are you doing, da da da. And I just, I don't know, I kind of feel like it's just a, I don't know, it's just a low bar, I feel like, in society for men.
God,
and I feel like this just kind of shows it, because I'm like, I'm not saying he's above forgiveness, of course everybody should be forgiven, but the fact that you gave him a perseverance award as if he was Martin Luther King behind fucking bars, or Nelson Mandela and was in fucking Africa behind bars for apartheid. Like this man literally, all he did was sit in his fucking mansion for a year,
go to
with
the gym,
fucking Megan Good the whole time, going to the gym,
cool
and
dogs,
right,
like,
and all of a sudden, just
having meetings, talking to the most powerful
and it's like,
people in the world.
just because you got a lawsuit on you, it makes it as if you something like unjust happened. Like I don't know, it's just hard for me to have sympathy for that, because I'm just like, it's like you said, it's like there was definitely racial undertones, and I'm positive of that. But at the same time, you were with the white woman acting like this. That, like, even if, and honestly, I don't even want to say a white woman, because it's like, even if this was a black woman, this would still be inappropriate behavior. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you shouldn't be able to get away with this type of behavior with any skin tone.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, it's just like, you were inappropriate. Like, and it's just like, it's hard for me to have sympathy when it's like, and like, I don't know, it's just like Jason Lee knew, it's just weird. It's like Jason Lee knew exactly what he was doing. Jonathan Majors' team is an idiot, because I feel like it's like you had a viral moment that people are trolling you for, not that people are embracing you for. It's bad press.
And some
then
people
thirdly,
are,
we
which
need to
is
have
really
higher
weird.
standards.
I think it's just really weird.
I just finishing.
Go ahead.
No, I already finished. I was just, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just saw in the comments, like, people are, you know, I was looking at the comments on YouTube, and like, there's so many people in the world. There's so many different pockets of black people and whatever. Like, some people are eating it up. They're like, welcome home. Like, yay, I'm so happy that, like, give this man back his whatever. And I'm not saying that shouldn't be the case, but it's just like this spectacle of like, this weird moment is just so, like, I'm just like, I just honestly, to me, again, when I was watching it, I was like, something's not right. Like, he is on stage rambling for 15 minutes. Like, I don't want to speculate, but he looked a little like drunk or something. And it's just like, and just, this is just from me knowing how drunk people look, you know, like trying to talk and give a speech and whatever. And it's just like, you know, and so I just feel like everybody looks dizzy. Everybody looks like a dizzy bitch. All the people in the audience that are like clapping or just like, it's okay, baby. Like, come on, blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's just sad. They really set him up. That's what it feels like.
I feel like they set him up too, and it's sad because it's like his team doesn't realize it, but and he doesn't realize it. But I just feel like at the end of the day, it doesn't change anything of my opinion about Jonathan Majors, because I'm just like, you didn't persevere through anything. Like, I hate to say it like that, but it's like you went through the normal justice system that millions of Americans go through every single day. Like, it's just so hard weird, for me to like, with evidence, like,
Yeah, and it's just so weird to me that like for me, I feel like he went from like this really cool, amazing actor, blah blah, to just like being so weird and just like
Girl, he's always been weird.
just being off.
You
I
were just
know.
hypnotized.
I know, but I feel like he was just still a little cool or whatever. But I just hope that I really don't know. Like I just feel like people
We'll see what happens.
I just feel like people have seen behind the curtain, and like that little like charismatic thing that he has going on like isn't gonna work anymore. So you got like I think he's gonna have to like be really real, like really real, and because anyways,
yeah, it's just I feel like I'm just like I don't know, it's hard for me to like show any sympathy for him because I'm like it's just such a low bar. Like I feel like I have seen people like Black women fight through like have to go through so much more to get to the good graces of the public than a man who beats somebody. Like literally Chris Brown, I'll never forget. Like okay, they boycotted him on the radio for a couple of months, and then I'll never forget that BET Awards where they had him perform a couple years later, and he was like breaking down into tears while he was dancing to Michael Jackson, and he was getting a standing ovation, and it was like very much this like you're back, welcome home, and I'm like all it took was him to be like at his mansion for like a year, and then all of a sudden like he's forgiven. It's just such a fucking low bar for men and like male celebrities that it's hard for me to like show any sympathy towards him because I'm just like you did nothing. You did nothing. You lost you lost a couple roles. At the end of the day, you're still a multimillionaire.
Yeah, you went through it because of your own like actions kind of, or just being in the situation that was of your cause. Like you were in this unhealthy, toxic relationship, texting other girls, like
exactly.
And so I just am like, it's so interesting, like the Chris Brown conversation, because again, it's just like I know some people are just like when like like you got to get over it at some point and blah blah blah. I just am curious, like as a people, I mean, I think it's really about individual opinion at this point. Like
absolutely,
people are gonna support what they want,
absolutely,
and
it's just like, and I think also I feel like the victim, I feel like if the victim is over it, then it's just like okay, maybe we should be, but at the same time it's like I feel like we kind of touched on this before, like with Chris Brown, I have no sympathy or believe that he's sorry because he continued to do it after Rihanna. So it's just like to this day, what Karochi has that fucking what is it called when they can't come
restraining
order, like, and so it's just like it's like it's just such a low bar because I know plenty of Black women that listen to his music and love him and go to his concert. So it's like at the end of the day, it's just like it's just hard for me to.
I think sometimes
like I'm like we have higher standards for like. I feel like people troll Lil Mama more after she and like all she did was fucking get on stage with Jay-Z and Alicia Keys than like these men. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's just like it's strange to me why we have such a low bar, but we're so hard on like Black women at times.
I get what you're saying. I want to just say,
go ahead.
I was gonna say something. I was just trying to figure out like I think people just want to. I think life is hard and people want to have the fantasy about this person and they enjoy their music, and it's just like, fuck it. Like I definitely feel like, some people, and not even trying to take myself out of it, because it could even be me with Beyonce. It's just like,
hell yeah,
like I'm still gonna go to her concert when it comes, even though I don't agree with blah blah blah. So yeah. I guess it's just, I
feel like it goes to that conversation people talk about, like, can you enjoy the art and separate it from the person? Like, I feel like people talk about that with Kanye all the time, or R. Kelly, or whoever. Can you? And I feel like, I don't know. What are your thoughts? Like, I don't know. You just said like, okay, yes, we know Beyonce's a capitalist. We don't fuck with some of the moves she makes as a capitalist. Neither did with her husband. However, you just said you would go to her concert.
mean,
so I mean, I feel like, yeah, but I feel like there's levels to it too, right? Like being a well, I don't know, actually. Some people would say that's just as evil because like some of the decisions you're making financially are like awful, right? So I don't know. I was about to say there's levels to it, but I think you can enjoy the art.
Yes, I do. I think you can. It's just funny. Humans are just so interesting because it's just like one thing will be, crazy, but playing an R. Kelly song at a party is like a no-no.
But I think that's the thing. It's like you can enjoy the art, but there's people have harsh boundaries and values like at a point. It's like there's limits to it. R. Kelly, I think, is one of those things, what you're saying, right? It's like it's a hell no to play R. Kelly. And I think because child abuse is like a line people aren't willing to like be like, okay,
I guess I just am like I'm curious how things will go with people. Definitely were playing Diddy. Like I was somewhere and it was like they're playing the Diddy part of the songs, and I'm just like, I'm curious. I mean, obviously he hasn't gotten convicted for anything, but I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. The low bar. It's like they're gonna wait. They're gonna say it's fine, but until he gets convicted. So even amidst the video of her, out. We know he's an abuser because we've literally seen the video. There's so like literally was it today? I just read he like gave 30 million, I think, or to like the victims of like Sean Combs like lawsuit that was coming to him or whatever. Sean John, whatever his little logo was. And it was just kind of like, oh my God, like he's throwing so much money to all these fucking victims, and we know it, usually that means because they have, if it went further, if we went to trial, it could be a very, very bad thing. God, yes. And so I say that to say, but it's such a low bar. Like even with all of this evidence, Diddy will still get played, and people will justify it by saying, well, he hasn't been like, he didn't get found guilty yet, even though we have all of this fucking evidence.
I think it's just, I feel like right now I'm just like thinking of it from like a sociology perspective. And I think just because I've been watching Game of Thrones, I mean, not Game of Thrones, House of Dragon. So it's just like, the people that are at the top, like a celebrity that are like out of reach. It's just such a weird thing. It's just very weird, this world we live in. And like the importance we give these people. Like Hollywood I mean, we know that it's weird. We talk about it like every damn week. And they call it that. They call it Holly Weird.
Holly Weird. But let's move on. Let's move on. But yes, like I think the Jonathan Majors thing is fucking weird.
We'll see what happens with his career moving forward.
We'll see. I won't be watching, but we'll see.
Oh no.
Okay, next on trial. Do you still want to reminisce about high school?
Yes. So
oh my god,
me and Alexis were talking about the podcast, and I was telling her how I was watching the Dallas Cowboy cheerleading show that's out on Netflix, and it just got me and like my friend Soleil talking about our friend Soleil talking about like, just a dance team back in the day, and then me and Alexis were talking about it because Alexis has an interesting experience with our high school dance community, like not community, but the program.
And I feel like dance team just like also was like a cesspool for like all these other like toxic things that happen in society.
So we were both on the dance team. So
let's reminisce. Let's go down the dance team lane. Well,
so Alexis, you should tell us your journey and like what happened with you.
Well, yeah, like so I feel like, me and Samantha, as we said, we go back since third grade. We both went to middle school together as well. And I feel like once we all got into McNamara, it was like, okay, we're trying out for the dance team.
And like, Alexis, you danced all
let me give some background. So like, I know some people don't know this, but yes, I like growing up, everybody has a sport or choice that they did every weekend. I did dance, so much so that I was like on a competition dance team from like 5th grade until 8th, maybe 4th grade until 8th. So like every weekend my mom was driving me and we were going to different states and different cities with my dance team and like competing, and we got awards, and you know, dancing was like pretty like a, you know, I was very not like serious like I want to be a dancer, but it was like I'm very good at it and I want to, you know,
that was like
your
thing. I remember that being like, and, okay, Alexis dances.
And like, so like, you know, when it was time for high school and it was like, oh my God, they have a dance team. It was like, oh, of course I'm trying out for the dance team. I feel like amongst our group of friends, it was like, we're very much trying out for the dance team. We also all
dance too. Like, you know, like I danced growing up. I went to like a few different studios, but I definitely danced from a young age. I remember going to Pizzazz. Oh, those are such cute days. But yeah, like, so yeah,
we all like went to the audition and we did that audition. And I feel like that was our first year, and like it was, you know, it was very much serious, and we're practicing the dances and like, you know, recess or whatever. So then we hear back, and like I remember Soleil immediately made it, and then me and Nicole and then everybody else didn't make it, and I remember being like, oh my God, like what the fuck, because I was just like a good dancer, like what is going on? And then
we all felt that way, okay?
And but then me and Nicole, I'll never forget, got a call like 2 days after they put up like who made it, and was like, actually, we want you and Nicole to come back and re-audition because we actually really like you guys were like the two, you know, we cut it people, but you two were people we wanted to make it, and we actually can now have space for 2 more people. We want to give you another audition. I'll never forget, me and Nicole, we like come, like we leave school, like we leave Holy Trinity really early, we go and like we go into like the theater, and like Miss Margaret and Miss Rock are there, and like they were just like, okay, so like they asked us to do like a couple of jumps and then to do the like routine for their tryout routine, and we did it probably like 2 times. And then I'll just never forget. It was very weird because I felt like it was literally me and Nicole on stage and no one else. So I felt like it was very much like, at the time we didn't know we were both going to make it, but I remember feeling like, okay, like it's me versus Nicole, let's go. Like, let's go. We both had to like freestyle, like, let's go.
It's very much like that.
I know. Dance. And so they like, we do everything. We're like sweating, we're breathing really hard. And they're like, okay, well, like, they're like, okay, well, we'll let you know. And so we're like, okay. So we like leave. And I remember we leave, like Nicole's mom was like waiting at and like outside the theater. And we were like, she's like, so what happened? And we were like, oh, they said they'll get back to us and let us know if we made it. And Nicole's mom was like, what? Like, you know, like they had us drive you from home, like, you know, again, a second time for them to not just accept
mind you, we're 13
and mind you, we're 8th graders at this point still. And she's like, oh heck no, like I'm going back and I need to talk to them. So I'm already like, Nicole, get your mom. I'm looking at Nicole like, get your mom. Like, I'm so embarrassed if she goes in there, because Nicole's mom like is no fucking joke, as you know.
She was having y'all's back.
I'm telling you, as Nicole's mom was like heated walking to the door, we see the door open up on the other side. I'm like, thank fucking God. Miss Margaret comes out and she just smiles and is like, congratulations, y'all made it. And so me and Nicole were so happy and excited, because we're just like, we knew we should have made this fucking team, bitch. And so I feel like though that started though, it's like in hindsight, if I had known what dance team would end up like being for me at, you know, at McNamara, I would have been like, actually, you can just keep it. Right. But that kind of started this like, and I feel year and a half long like journey of me like getting bullied and by like not by anybody, but by the leaders, the adults of dance team, the coaches of dance team, and eventually like kicked out the dance team and then blackballed from the whole dance community of at McNamara,
which is crazy.
But like, let's just talk about the diet. Oh, so then let's just put Samantha into the equation. So the second, so I was on the dance team.
Wait. I want to tell. You can.
I was just gonna finish the first year. Like, go. So the first year, like it was like a really cool group of freshmen who like made the team, I would say. Like,
oh wait, I want to talk about how it felt to not make the team.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, I just remember that so vividly. And me and Nicole were we were practicing together. And I feel like, what was the song that
it was? It was
like, Pump It.
Louder. It was a Black Eyed Peas, Turn Up the Radio.
Yes,
Blast the stereo.
I can literally remember that dance.
I think it's Monkey. No, it's Pump It Up. It's called Pump It Up.
It's like Pump It, whatever. But yes, like, it was just so, it sucked, you know, like to not make the team. But obviously, you know, I was happy for you guys, and it became like, you know, a cute, cool part of your guys' freshman year experience, because it was like you, Soleil,
me, Soleil, Nicole, and then Taylor.
Was there another freshman? Oh, right, Taylor.
And that's it. I want to say, yeah, Taylor. I don't think there was. I think because Courtney Harris didn't come until the second year. So yeah, and Brittany Brown didn't come until later. So yeah, it was just us four. Yeah.
Yes, and y'all were with a lot of like seniors, and y'all were sucking it up.
That's what I'm saying. So like the first, it was a really cool experience for like first year, because it was like it was only 4 of us for freshmen, then the rest were like seniors and juniors. So it was cool because I feel like we had like automatic like upperclassmen who were like cool with us and we could like talk to and stuff. Yeah. But then also it was just, and like who had cars and after school, and but it was also cool to be like at the football games and dance and the basketball games. But I feel like and it was just cool to be like, I don't know, I feel like at school dances, like if one of our dance songs came on, we were like, let's do the routine. And so that was really fun. But then I feel like, you know, once the second year came, it was very much like, okay, everyone who didn't make it is going to try it again, and that's kind of when you enter the picture. Like you make the team. I was
coming back for blood. Okay, I was gonna make that team.
You come in the picture. Courtney comes in the picture. Yes, but I also, I'm not going to say any names for some of these things, but I feel like, I don't know. It's just dancing was just so interesting.
This was when it took a turn, because a lot of the seniors left. It was like, it was a whole different group, and it was like the younger, like there was only maybe a couple.
Like it was like Zuri, if that was
Zuri. Like Monica.
Yeah, so it was like a couple of upper juniors. I would say now at that point, not even. But it was like the younger group was now kind of the like
coming up. Yeah, we were going to fill up the team.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's when things took a turn, because I feel like the dynamic really switched, where there was like, oh my God, so many dynamics. There was a group of light-skinned people. There was like a group of non-light-skinned people. There was like, I would even say like body type. There was a group of like very skinny people. There was people of like normal
things
people.
That come with dance, like, and like just some of like, it's like some of it's real and some of it's just like bullshit like that you're trying to do with these,
then pretty privilege, I feel like kind of came in it too. Like there was also, I don't know, and I know you remember this too, but like there was, I will never forget like the second year trying out again, and there was someone coming in who was beautiful, but like
probably I would say beautiful people ever.
Probably one of the most beautiful people ever. But like I feel like everyone would have made a consensus on that stage that like they're not good enough for this team yet. You know what I'm saying? Like there are people like you didn't make it last year.
I'm like,
and you were better. Yes. Exactly, you were better than that. And then I will never forget like the next week coming to the official practice and seeing that person make the team, and I was like, okay, this is interesting that we're giving this person a lot of grace and like effort to reach their potential, but we weren't willing to do that last year. And I feel like looks had to do a lot with it. I feel like looks had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. It was just like, you are gorgeous. Like, and like you said, I mean, like I was just saying, Miss Rock left. Like, you know, the other head coach left. And I feel like Miss Rock was like your girl, kind of like she was rooting for you.
She was dark skinned. She was rooting for me. I don't know. This is one thing I always say. I have always been, since I was little, like a very passionate, justice oriented. And I'm not even saying it about like Black power justice, but literally just like, that's not fair. I want fair. Like I've always, and like outspoken. I've never been disrespectful, but I've always been like raising my hand, like, I don't think this is fair. Da, 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 da.
Or just I just want to add to just like, you know, gonna question something, like, you know, if something doesn't sound right, you're not afraid to be like, well, I don't know. Like,
yes,
like,
exactly.
That is the kind of kid you
and
were.
I feel like after the first year, I kind of was like already kind of feeling like misunderstood a little, but I was like, whatever, it is what it is. But then the second year, I feel like once I started realizing these dynamics coming up where it was like, okay, it seems like the light skinned people are getting like different treatment, or always just like getting, or always in the front on dances, or just like always like, always in good graces with the coaches, while everyone else is kind of either forgotten about or just like are in bad graces, or like not given the benefit of the doubt. I feel like there was times where I was noticing like, just certain people didn't have the dances, but since they were pretty, they were somehow like again in the front or whatever, and just like kind of like not bringing it up directly like that, but just like speaking my mind about like, this doesn't sound right, or this wasn't fair, or we did do this or whatever. And I mean, it's just interesting because I feel like it's just interesting because I feel like I very much, well, like just to kind of talk about my journey, like there was like a bunch of things coming up of like, well, Alexis isn't like listening to the choreographers, or Alexis isn't doing whatever, but this is all like behind my back stuff. Like no one's ever taking this to me. They're like talking behind my back or whatever. And it kind of all culminates to one day I come to, and like there's times where I'm coming into practice and they're like, well, you can't practice today for like no fucking reason.
Can I just add a little bit of like juice to it?
Yeah, go ahead.
This woman, I mean, like we said, the other woman that was the head coach left, and like the head coach now, like you said, you felt tension from the season before, so now this person is like in charge and like really just like honestly just had it out for you, low-key, just like did not like the like
the energy that I was giving,
the energy that you were giving. And also you were like, you've always been funny. Like I know me and you definitely were laughing, and like we were just being kids. Like you were still a good kid, but you were just having fun too. And I just so I just feel like that context of like this lady had it out for you, and it was
but I also it's just so interesting.
Oh yeah, and I wanted to ask you too. I'm like, so did you? Because I feel like when it was all happening, I was aware that it was happening, but it was just like I knew that it wasn't fair, but like I didn't really talk to you or Courtney about, like I don't know if like I feel like it was just almost
really
just like
about it. I mean, I
feel like it was just like happening to me, and I was getting affected. I was just like, okay, like I guess I'm not good enough to be in the front. Like like I was just like going with it in this new environment. I feel like all these pretty girls and dance, and like dance is just such a. It's just so weird. It's hard to describe when you're not in it, but it's definitely a competitive, and it's very like people are cut, like there is a bottom and a top, like there is a top girl and there's a
I feel like Dance Moms, the show really showed it, where it's like there's a top of the pyramid and there's a bottom of the fucking pyramid, and you very much know that off of just how they treat you. And I feel like you're right, like it's true, like we never talked about like during that time the dynamics of like like how colorism, I really feel like was rampant in that dance team, because it wasn't like, I'm not saying they were colorist people, but I'm just saying the phenomenon was working, right? Like because it was just kind of like
it was just a favor.
Miss Margaret being a light-skinned person, right? I feel like that had things to do it. And then
let's just like say the head coach.
Sorry, the head coach. Yeah, we don't want to get sued. The head coach being a light-skinned person, and then just like the people that were legitimately good. Like I'm not trying to like lie. Like Taylor is probably one of the most beautiful dancers I've ever seen in my life. You know what I'm saying? Courtney
they
Harris
were amazing dancers.
They were amazing. But I also but I feel like, and the fact that they were light skinned, I feel like also like benefited them in many ways.
Oh my God, they often it felt like it was just treated like a fave, like they were favored of like just like these are the delicate dancers that we need to make sure get on the bus, and they were like whatever, and then it was like get your ass on the bus,
and then the rest of us was like get your ass on.
It's like you got your shit, like okay, like get on, make sure you get in the back,
and I feel like they
get in their
way.
They
carried themselves in that kind of way, like and it wasn't like they were mean, but it was just like they even carried themselves as like, well, I need to make sure that like I'm like I know I'll be in the front, or like, yes, Miss Margaret. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, coach, because they knew that, like, they were, and there was nothing to fight for. There was nothing they had to advocate for because it was already handled for them.
And
but I feel like
it was hard for us to like people, and like I definitely could have qualified as like light skin, I guess, but for some reason I was not lighted up for that, for like Miss Margaret's favored. But I just was gonna say, like, just like talent wise, I feel like that was also that was like what was like working against me, because I feel like, and that's why I want to watch my videos from back in
but I feel like it's interesting.
Like,
it's interesting too, just like, though, because like I feel like watching it in hindsight, having been a teacher, it's just like, wow, it was literally like an adult straight having beef with a child, like literally just like just
let's
doing
tell
little
them like how it was crazy. Like,
I mean, it was just like
I just remember camp. My thing was
what
just
happened
like
at camp.
Like, we went to dance team camp, and it was just like obvious. Like, it was just like you would say something and she would like say a little something like, like, oh, like, you need to blah 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 blah. Like, you guys would just get into it a lot, and it was just like a bubbling thing. And like you said, like, you were just not having her shit, and it was just like you definitely had the vibe of, like,
it was
this
a
is
bubbling
bogus.
thing,
like,
or
you're
just like,
over your head, like,
right.
You think you're whatever.
Or just like, somebody would come in to teach us choreography. I would whisper something to someone and it would be like, sit down right now. Like, you shouldn't be talking. Right. They can't handle you or whatever. And it's just like, literally, but then you see somebody else literally having a full blown fucking conversation while like the person's teaching.
You're right.
So little things like that. And so then it kind of culminates to like, well, you can't practice. So then, I'll never, there's two things.
Yes.
I'll never forget one of the seniors who was on the dance team when I was a freshman had sent me a message on their first year in college. So they like, it was the second year they had graduated. I was the second year on the dance team and they were first year in college. They sent me a message being like, how do you like the dance team this year? And I'm thinking, oh, this is someone that, was on the dance team last year. I'm cool with them, whatever. Inside jokes. I'm like, oh, it's like, okay. Like, and I said something about the coach, just being like, the coach is kind of, I didn't cuss, I didn't say nothing. I was like kind of annoying, but like, it is what it is, So I'll never forget the next day I go to dance team and Miss Margaret's like, you can't practice today. And I'm like, why? And she's like, because what you said on Facebook, and like pulls up the like our private message with me and this former dance team person. And I remember being like, and so I called my mom, and then she was like, and you need to have your mom come up here and talk. And so I called my mom, I was like, hey mom, you have to come early. Like, Miss Margaret the coach wants to talk to you. And my mom was like, for what? And my mom was like, because I wrote something. I like sent a message about her on Facebook. And my mom was like, tell her I'm not coming up there for something on Facebook. And I like will never forget that. And so I told her that, and she had to just eat it. Like, okay, I guess her mom's not coming up here. But then I'll never forget, probably like a week or two later, another day comes in. She's like, you can't practice. I'm like, okay, whatever. She's like, so then all of a sudden I see my father walk in, and I'm like, my dad did not tell me I was coming in, like he's coming into dance team or whatever. And he's like, I'm like, hey, yeah, they called me. They said they wanted to have a meeting. And I'll never forget, like, everyone's practicing, and then like the like head of like the after school activities brings me into office, is like, it has like a formal letter being like, so you're getting kicked off the dance team. They said your like behavior, and like it was just like effective immediately. And my dad was like, let's get out of here. And I like never forget that. And like, and I just remember, yeah, he's like, he ended the meeting like that. My dad was like, let's get out of here. And I'll just never forget, because I was just like, it was like I had no voice in this day. Nobody asked me if this was true. Right. It was really just like what she said was just like, was law. And I remember thinking like, I was so annoyed, and just like, and I felt like, and it was like, nobody was like, it was just kind of like, I got kicked off. I wasn't there again at practices, and I was like, no one kind of fought for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that kind of started this blacklisting. Like, if I tried out for any dance thing, I immediately got rejected. Didn't go to any rounds. Couldn't get into any dance classes.
And she's talking about, our dance school was very robust. Like, we had African dance, which we had African dance, very popular, we had jazz, very lyrical, popular. Like, and it's just like, very popular. You're telling me this dancer that's been doing tap all her life, like, can't take a class. And mind
beginner level, we're talking.
We're talking about classes.
Yes.
Okay. Like,
and I remember I like Mr. Bog, because I had tried out for like the beginning African dance, and he was like, and it was just very clear that like I am good at this, I can do this, like this is not even a thing. And he pulled me to the side because I didn't get into the class, and he was like, look, I'm not gonna hold you, like you could have made this, probably even the one above it, but it's just that like I have been told that like no one can put you in any dance classes because of like your behavior, your attitude, and you know, so like you're not gonna get into anything here. You can try saying COVID at the end of the day, at the end, you know, but you're not gonna get into anything here. And I just remember being like, damn, like Miss Margaret, like you have fucking beef with a high schooler. Like you have gone to such great lengths to literally blacklist a high. How miserable do you have to fucking be? And it was just kind of like, I don't know. And like upon reflection, I'm just like, wow, she really just created a culture of just like all the negative isms in one thing. Like I feel like we were worried about our bodies there. We were worried about our skin color there.
We were way too worried about our bodies.
We were getting treated like weirdly based on how we like looked. I feel like there was weird like unspoken dynamics amongst the dancers, and just like and just like, I don't know, it's just it was so fucking toxic. And it's funny because I feel like if you ask certain people their experience on dance team, they would have a totally different story.
Right.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, it is funny. But it definitely, and like, don't get me wrong, like there was fun times, but it was all happening within these like just really like yucky moments, especially for the people that are, you know, on the other side and not being like favored or whatever. And obviously, you know, I feel like people are like, you know, especially with dance, I feel like people are just like, whatever, like you're not, like if you're not good enough, like you're not good enough, you know? And so,
but there's so many more dynamics that go with it that I feel like people don't like talk about. Yeah. And I feel like
and people don't like foster the people, like, you know, there wasn't a real sense of like fostering of like, you know, our talent, like the people that were really good, like, you know, it was just like.
But it's interesting because I feel like they were willing to foster a talent if you were pretty. Like, I'm not trying to be weird, but I'm just saying, like, there was a person. I remember us Alexis, laughing, crying at that tryout because we were like, oh my God, this person can't dance. And you know, we witnessed their growth, and they actually became a very incredible dancer. But it was like they were willing to take a chance on this person because they were pretty. Like, let's be clear. It's like they were willing to invest in you if you were pretty. That's what I'm saying. It was like so weird because I feel like I've never experienced. I'm fortunate enough to have never experienced like mean girl behavior from like students and teenagers when I was in high school, but I feel like dance team was like the first time I was exposed to it by the adults. Like they were like valuing us based on like, yes, skill, but also like, were you pretty? Like, were you, you know, like there were other things that like made you valuable to the team.
Right.
And I feel like it's so interesting because I'm like, yeah, that was the first time I really got to like get a view at mean girl behavior. And it was coming from the fucking adults. Like,
yeah, it's wild. Yeah, they were setting the example of like how this was going to go. Yeah, it was definitely toxic. So after that year, I did go on to do another year. So I did sophomore, junior year. And by the junior year, it was just like Miss Margaret, or the head coach has left. We have like a new, like,
that's right,
white woman coach. And it was just like, okay, like this vibe, it got even worse. So Alexis, you definitely were protected, like so much so that we didn't come back senior year. Like we were like, fuck this, like I'm not gonna be on the dance.
What made you not come back? Like what was the shenanigans that made you not come back?
All of the things, Alexis, just like it really did come down to just like, this is not fun anymore. Like people are favored, like, you know, it really did come down to that stuff. And it was like, I don't want to be on a team if like I'm not valued. And I feel like we were also having, I think like me and Courtney, because we both didn't come back. We were, you know, we were in African dance and we were like loving it and actually being like valued and like put in the front sometimes and whatever. We were just like, we don't need this shit. Like we don't really want to just be, you know, these hangers on of like this dance team. Like go and be whatever the fuck, you know. And after that, I feel like, I don't know how dance team was senior year, but we definitely, you know, I think when we left, it left a mark. So
it's just so interesting, but like how someone can have like two people can have such different experiences in the same group, and it's like,
yeah.
and I'm just like really like that's really like sitting with me at like having this conversation, because I'm like, we had a totally different experience, and that's why I would love to talk to a certain someone who's like was there with us since freshman year, because I feel like they were always just like the darling of dance team, you know, and rightfully so, they're very talented, but I'm just saying, like, I would love to know if they ever felt like they could see the dynamics, like they were getting like very valued while everybody else wasn't.
And sometimes it felt like sometimes it felt like they felt like it was like, you know, it was weird. Like it was just like I could see how they might sense it, but they're on the other side, and so they're just, you know, and like we're also friends, like, you know, we're being friends, so it's just, it was a whole lot of other stuff going on, but it's not like, and not saying that this was their job to like fight for us to be like, you know, like, no, like we should put this person in the front or whatever. But yeah, it definitely, I mean, and I just feel like back then, like we were in high school in like 2007 to like 2010, like we did not have all this black girl magic, and you know, so like now when you go back, when we go back to African dance, it's like, it just looks completely different. None of the girl, all of our hair was permed. Okay, relaxed on stage. Like, what? It looks so weird.
It's just so interesting. But I would love, and I would also love to talk to the coach and just be like, in hindsight, are you like regretful of it? Like, right. You know, like, because I'm like, maybe you were behaving so fucking childish. It's not even fucking funny. Like
childish, y'all. Like,
I've taught more kids than she's ever coached, and I would have never blacklisted a kid like that.
Me and Alexis would be like looking at each other like and laughing, because we know how crazy this is. Like, this lady is out of, she's like, oh yeah, that was what it was. She was laughing so hard. Remember, like,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Driving back, and she was like hysterically laughing.
She was unhinged.
And me and Alexis were looking at each other like,
it's just interesting, but I feel like it's just interesting because I feel like in high school you don't think about the adults as also like recreating the toxicity, and I guess Mean Girls, the movie, kind of like hints at that, how they were all like, I like, you know, like, who's been victimized by Regina George? They're raising their hands. And even the principal being like, I once saw Regina George wear da-da-da-da-da, so I wore da-da-da. And I feel like, yeah, you don't think about the adults also recreating the toxic, like, culture, but the adults absolutely do. And it's so fucking interesting to see who's at the top of the like food chain and who's not. And I feel like what they're doing, what they're, it really came down to like you being light skinned, yes, skill, but also you being light skinned, you being like ballerina, like thin, lean, and you being pretty, like conventionally pretty, like pretty that, like, you know what I'm saying, like we're all pretty, but like conventionally,
like, literally
pretty.
like you look at them like,
exactly.
I mean, we are like that too, but it's just like, you know. But I also want to just say, I really wish, like, I've told Alexis this, like, I really wish we fought for that. Like, I really wish, one, it was very weird. Like you said, it was like one day you were there, one day you weren't there, and it was like an unspoken thing. Like, I don't even know, like, if we really talked about it ever. Like, maybe just like what happened like in the room, because I'm like imagining the room, but yeah, I told Alexis, I'm like, I wish my mom and like Nicole's mom and like other people's mom knew about this, because I swear, like, Alexis, like, I don't know, but it, like, whatever. I'm like, no, that is ridiculous. Okay, like, you're not gonna tell me this child that has been in dance her whole life can't do what? African dance, this black child,
and like, just like, no. I feel like,
and it's a class, Alexis. It's not like
that's
this is an extracurricular.
Because I'm like, I must have not been that fucking immature if I was able to just like,
it's affecting
your life, fucking L and move on. Like, but it is what it
is. And again, you were protected. Like, you went on to be in band,
bigger and better things.
Oh my God, Alexis is a black tuba player. Like, and use that to your benefit, getting
Hell
scholarships,
yeah,
you pivoted real good. And yeah, I'm sorry that we both experienced the trauma.
It's just interesting. Mean girl behavior. Send us your mean girl stories at. It's like, no, I'm joking.
Oh my God. Yeah,
but let's
send
wrap
us
it
things.
up.
Yes, I'm tired.
I'm sleepy too.
You heard that Alexis' little attitude coming out. And you can email us at whoamitojudgepod@gmail.com.
Yes.
And we love y'all. Keep supporting. Keep sharing it with your friends.
Keep sharing. We're trying to get to 55 views now, not 54. One more listener. We'll see what happens.
All right. Love y'all. Bye.
See ya. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. Remember to email us your discussion topics at whoamitojudgepod@gmail.com. Also, remember to subscribe to Who Am I to Judge podcast on Spotify and everywhere you get your podcasts. If you love us, please rate us and review. And if you don't, leave us alone. Tell a friend to tell a friend. See y'all next week. Bye, friends.